Now, following that strongly worded letter by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, Nigerians have, as usual, taken to social media to express divergent views. With me in the studio now to discuss this is a journalist and a social commentator, Ikenna Asumba. Ikenna, thank you for coming at this point. So, you've handled matters like this, like we were talking about earlier, and it's no surprise to you how Lai Mohammed was able to handle the matter, though some Nigerians are coming out to say that this is not time for kind words. We want to see action. What's your take on this?
Well, first and foremost, I must say good morning to Nigerians. You see, President Olusegun Obasanjo, I mean the former president, yeah, is one man that Nigerians, Africa, and the international community respect a lot because of his series of interventions in countries in Africa that have been prone to crisis and all that. You saw what he did in Liberia, you saw what he did in South Africa, even Sierra Leone. So Obasanjo is not new to the system. I think the reaction of the presidency to what President Olusegun Obasanjo has said, I think for me, if you look at the body language of that response by Alhaji Lai Mohammed, I think he was more of diplomatic, you know, because one would have expected Lai Mohammed, you know how vociferous he is, one would have expected him to hit back at the former president. But you see, he has said the former president is a patriot, that the administration appreciates what he has done by advising them. But there are a lot of issues.
Right, and in employing diplomacy here now, for me the key issue is, are Nigerians pacified by this response? Probably some were expecting a tougher response from the presidency, probably to defend itself against some of the issues and the punchlines the former presidents made. For instance, where he said the president is weak in handling these critical security matters. And what we heard from Lai Mohammed was that the administration is making steady progress, you know, towards ameliorating the situation in the country. So how does this sit with you as a journalist and as a Nigerian? Are you pacified?
From my own point of view, I'm not pacified, because this is something some of us have been talking about even since 2015. We've been saying the way at which the current administration is handling issues in the country, that they are very slow. For instance, let's take the issue of the economy, for instance. Nigeria economy shouldn't have gone into recession. Even some persons like Dr. Olisa Abakuba, in one of his interviews, even said Nigeria went into depression because of the number of negative growths we had in 4 quarters. You see, if the president has kicked off like we are seeing now in Liberia, the new president immediately was sworn in, he put up his team together, his cabinet. President Buhari didn't need to waste over 6 months to put up a cabinet. You see, so these are the issues. A lot of foreign investors, we are not convinced that our economy would favor them. So they put out their foreign direct investment.
So for most of the alleged or so-called failures, let me put it like that, you know, that this government has been accused of, many have blamed it on the lack of political will on the presidents, or bad advice coming in from the so-called cabals. Which side do you tilt to?
Well, it is interfaced. One, the Nigerian president has so much enormous powers to act at when due.
As a commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
Commander-in-chief of the armed forces. For instance, the Fulani herdsmen menace shouldn't degenerate to this level. The president must be proactive. The economy didn't need to go into recession. The double-digit inflation we are witnessing today, even though Lai Mohammed said it has been reduced over the last 11 months. But the administration promised that it was going to go back to single-digit inflation. So the president and his cabinet, they didn't need to They didn't need to dilly-dally to put things in order. Nigerians per se voted for change. So they want to see the change. You understand my point? So the president doesn't need to be passive when it comes to taking.
Right. I'm sure Nigerians and all those interested in these matters abroad would agree with you. But then again, these talks are going on. We'll still keep monitoring the situation as they develop on social media and, of course, everywhere else. Ikenna Asumba, thank you very much once again.
It's a pleasure being on the program.